Hello, it's Charlie. Welcome back to Partick Hill Station. Today I'm going to do something a little bit different. As you can see, I have a collection here of the magazine Model Railway. This one's from September 1999 and it was volume 6, number 9. It cost me $7.95 and it's for both the modeler and collector. It was a really good magazine. I always look forward to picking this up. It's nice material, good quality paper. Anyway, let's just have a look through this at some particular items that I thought you might find interesting. And you know, there's always this few front pages that have got examples of what's new at the time. A nice selection of wagons, locos and vehicles. And some interesting letters to the editor. So the first article that I'd just like to have a look at is they do this profile of wagons in context, and in this particular case it's a 20-ton standard brake van. And Hornby, or British Railways, used an LNER design, which it based it on, and you notice a small body on a long wheelbase, and ducats, or ducats, whatever way you want to pronounce it, and that allowed the guard to see. And in the 1960s, the practice of placing the guard in the rear cab of diesel locomotives led to a decline in the use of brake vans. In the last ones were built by BR in 1963. So I guess they were still in use on diesel-powered trains. Now, the interesting thing is, I've got one of these. As you can see here, it's the same long base and the short cab. And it's got most of the little details except for a couple of items on the roof. The rails here are moulded, whereas they appear as if they may be metal, or maybe they've just been picked out with paint. But the interesting thing is, you notice here, they've used these small wires, as you can see here on the photograph. And it's entirely possible to use the same mould for this, but this is mainline and made in Hong Kong. And it's got the solid plastic axles and wheels, but it runs very well, and it's a nice little model. So I thought you would enjoy seeing that. So moving on, go through a variety of articles and some early model railway shows. As you can see, lots of young lads out there, obviously from school, to see this layout. and Doctor Who. This is an interesting article on the Airfix mainline inheritance of DAPL, and it gives you all the DAPL listings all the way through. So, you know, if you're interested in that type of data, this is a good place to pick it up. Now, here's another interesting article, this one on long wheelbase vans. Now, I've never seen any of these. These are from Hornby, and this article is by Pat Hammond. You know, you've got your Red Arrows, the Cox Brothers Circus, and Fireworks. And here's an interesting note. We finish with a never was a in the form of a model which appeared in the catalogue in 1974. The catalogue showed an R536 dockyard police set, which included a white van marked police and emergency service. For unknown reasons, the set was not made, and the catalogue was subsequently reprinted with a replacement set in its place. I wonder if anybody's got one of those. Some planning considerations. Various scales get covered in this magazine. An interesting article from North America by Fred Bock. And then we come to this one. This is another series, Tanks for the Memory, no pun intended. This is a Triang Australian Shell Oil. It was initially detailed with transfers, but at about the time the old tools were sent out to Australia, they changed to heat printing, as there was no spare printing tool to be sent. And this one from July 1998. So it also gives you an indication of how long I've had an interest in model railways. Let's just go to these leafs here. And once again, wagons in context. The 20-ton grain wagon. And this one here is the Triang TT grain wagon. And this is the British Railways standard grain wagon. So these were based on the British Railway design developed from the LMS ones. Now, this is interesting because I never, up till reading this, I'd never come across Ambrico. Maybe some of you have, and maybe some of you have some of these models, but they look like very nice models, and they've got, you know, rail cars, DMUs, locomotives, pre-national coaches, a nice selection of the various models that were available. They also produced tram cars, and there's a list of BR coaches. Now, this is an interesting article because I know this whole topic of Ringfield Motors comes up every now and again, and this is a very good article on remotoring a Lima 00 scale class 47, and it makes for interesting reading. And you know, if anybody wants copies of these articles, please just drop me a note and I'll be happy to forward them to you. And here are the Hornby Railway's Aggregate hopper wagons. And this is a really nice selection and a variety of them. And they have, you know, pre-production and production models indicated here. I wonder if any of you have these. And they were produced between 88 and 95. And here's another tanks for the memory. This time the Shell BP tank wagon. And it was available from, you know, the TT range to 1957. But this was like the early 00 scale Triang equivalent, with Shell heat printed in red on one side and BP in green on the other. In 1962, the early design was replaced with one which carried two Shell logo transfers on each side, and this is a version that is hard to find in good condition. Versions with either a red or a black sole bar have been found. And at the start of 1965, only 60 wagons were left in the stores at Margate, and these were sent out to shops during that year. So, as I said, I hope you have enjoyed that quick look at the Model Railway magazine, your new look Enthusiast. I thought it was a great magazine, and as I said, I look forward to it coming out every month. So I'll continue with these reviews, and where possible I'll introduce a model like this one to give you some comparison. So if you like this, please give me the thumbs up and drop me a note if you have any questions or requests for copies of the articles which I've shared with you today. Anyway, we'll see you next time at Partick Hill Station. Thanks very much for dropping by. Bye for now.